Now in Nightside, at least 22 people killed and 50 to 60 others hurt in a mass shooting in Maine tonight. The breaking new details just into the newsroom.
And stoke the fireplace and turn up the thermostats of the coldest weather we've seen in months starts tonight.
And a thief who rappelled through the roof of a Spokane car dealership to steal keys is behind bars, but some of his accomplices are still on the run. You're watching 4 News Now Nightside. We start by tracking some breaking developments on the mass shooting in Lewiston, Maine tonight. At least 22 people have been killed and more than 50 others have been hurt. Police have told everyone in the city to go home and lock their doors. They also encourage businesses to close for the night as they hunt for the shooter. 40-year-old Robert Card is a person of interest, but he has not been named a suspect as of yet. Thanks so much for staying up with us. I'm Derek Dice. Kirsten O'Connor has the night off. There have been 564 mass shootings in the U.S. already this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. On at least 30 of those occasions, 3 or more people died. This map you're looking at shows every mass shooting so far in 2023. ABC's Melissa Adon has the latest breaking details from Maine.
A massive manhunt still underway in Maine for an armed gunman who opened fire on a bowling alley and a bar, killing about 24 and injuring dozens more. Officials searching for this man, identified as Robert Card.
Approximately 6:56 this evening, a couple of shooting incidents occurred here with multiple casualties in the city of Lewiston. And police are currently searching for a Robert R. Card, 4/4 of 1983 of Bowdoin. Card is considered armed and dangerous. He is a person of interest, however.
Sources tell ABC News Card is a firearms instructor with military training who also has a history of mental health issues. Law enforcement say the gunman, armed with an AR-15 style rifle, entered the bowling alley and began firing while a youth bowling league event was taking place. More than a dozen people are dead and dozens more have been injured, according to law enforcement sources. Maine State Police urging people in Lewiston and Augusta to stay indoors and for businesses to close down until the suspect is caught. Officials closing schools in the area Thursday. Law enforcement also releasing this photo of a white vehicle they believe the suspect was driving. Several ambulances, stretchers, and law enforcement outside of area hospitals where they are treating the victims. President Joe Biden and the Attorney General briefed on the tragedy, the president speaking with Maine's governor and offering full federal support. Melissa Adon, ABC News.
Back here at home, the 12-year-old boy who went missing 2 days ago has been found safe. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says Kaiden Fuller was last seen leaving his home on Monday. All right, we saw our first snowfall of the winter season today, and while the flurries got off to a little bit of a late start, it was still enough to make the roads a little slick this morning. Meteorologist Matt Gray is in for Chris Crocker tonight with what's next in our forecast. Matt?
Well, what comes next are some chilly temperatures, Derek. It's been a while since we've seen the 20s. In fact, most places hadn't hit freezing until before today, and that was a little late for the fall season. So we're just doing it all at once. We're doing everything right at the same time. Tonight is our first hard freeze of the season, and we get even colder than that heading into the weekend. Winter-like cold with teens and low 20s as we head through the weekend. And those, by the way, folks, are going to be pretty widespread. Now, things do get warmer by Halloween, but don't expect a huge warm-up in the days to come. Here are your temperatures right now. Look at Colville. We're down to 23 already as we've got, early season Arctic air spilling over from Montana. Take a look at this. Lookouts down to 21. We're already at freezing or below freezing across a good swath of the inland Northwest, including Metro Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, and we will continue to cool tonight. In Spokane and around Coeur d'Alene, here's what we expect. Mid-20s tonight. There'll still be a chance for some isolated snow showers, but the bigger story is going to be that you're going to wake up and it's going to be cold. The last time we saw a night below 30 degrees, that was back in late April. The last hard freeze, 28 or cooler, that was in mid-April. And our last night below 25 was back on March 7th. Well, guess what? We're already going to knock these two out tonight. By the end of the weekend, we'll have knocked out that as well. So a big cool down very fast, and we'll show you how low we're expected to go coming up.
All right, Matt, thank you. Well, 2 people are in jail tonight accused of stealing 8 cars from a North Spokane car dealership. Police say one of the thieves rappelled through the roof to get into the room where the keys were kept. Security cameras show a man stealing a minivan before returning an hour later with friends. Investigators say 19-year-old Fran Anunar and 20-year-old Heron Linfield were just 2 of the people involved. A third person has been identified but has not yet been charged. All but one of those cars has been recovered. 5 former residents of Camp Hope graduated from the Community College of Spokane's Employment Preparation Program. That new program is designed specifically for Catholic Charities' Catalyst Project with the goal of helping people re-enter the workforce. Catholic Charities renovated the Quality Inn on West Sunset Boulevard to provide housing for people who lived at Camp Hope, which was permanently shut down in June. Those involved with the project got to stay in the temporary housing and could tap into other resources, including the program created by CCS. The 2-week program goes over time management, communication, and conflict management skills, along with tips for creating a resume and how to use Microsoft Office Suite.
Hands-on work with the tools, the trade, carpentry. We're doing all kinds of stuff, really. It's been a blessing, the whole thing.
That was Matthew Lawson. He's lived at Camp Hope for 16 months before transitioning to the Catalyst housing. Now that he's graduated from the program, his goal is to get a job with the city of Spokane. A hearing was held today on the anti-camping initiative, Proposition 1, but a decision was deferred. Jules Helping Hands issued an appeal to a decision made in August. That decision said the proposed ban on camping within 1,000 feet of schools and playgrounds should be up to the voting public. But Julie Garcia, the founder of Jules Helping Hands, argued that the decision should be up to administrators like the city council instead.
Land use has always been a city council focused process with citizens going in and changing something that's already been put. It then takes away the right of our elected officials to make that decision, and there's no regulation over it.
Garcia went on to say this could lead to unsafe gatherings in neighborhoods. Mark Lamb represents Brian Hansen, the author of Prop 1, who believes this decision should be left in the public's hands.
And it's critical that the people of Spokane be allowed to legislate. It's critical that the people of Spokane have the right to vote, to protect their children, and to have a clean and safe community.
Now, again, a decision was not made in today's hearing. According to local attorney Noel Lowney, this process could take anywhere from a few weeks to a few months, but Election Day is just 2 weeks away on November 7th.
Well, time for a quick look at sports. I'm Julian Minnesota. Washington State and Oregon State have evidence that could help their case in the lawsuit against the Pac-12. WSU and OSU are claiming that Pac-12 Commissioner George Kliavkoff's response to the schools announcing their intention to leave the conference suggests that the departing members gave up their rights to make decisions on the Pac-12's future. Now, in a court filing submitted to Whitman County today, Washington State and Oregon State made the case that they should be the only ones who can decide what happens to the Pac-12 and its assets. WSU and OSU are the only conference members that have not announced their intentions to join another league next year. Now, a hearing on the matter is scheduled for November 14th in Whitman County. Live in the studio, Julian Minnesota, 4 News Now Sports.
All right, Julian, thank you. A local firefighter had to recently take a leave of absence after finding out he had a brain tumor. But because most of his service was as a volunteer, he doesn't qualify for workers' compensation. Ron Cato may have only spent 1 full year as a career firefighter, but he did the same type of work as a volunteer. He's helped people work 24-hour shifts and has fought many fires. And if it weren't for his stage 4 glioblastoma, he'd still be working because he loves the job.
There are people that need help. There are people that need things so they can survive, be it medical, be it fires, put fires out. You want to help them because you might have a neat day, but the people that you're trying to help are having the worst day in their world, and you want to try to make that a little better.
The Washington State Department of Labor and Industries considers these risks, and that's why there's a law that makes it easier for fighters to receive workers' comp. But because Cato doesn't even have 10 years of paid experience, he doesn't qualify. His son has scheduled meetings with state representatives to try to get his dad some help. Hope he finds it. All right, still to come here on Nightside. You can't vote if you're not registered properly. What the Kootenai County Elections Office needs you to know before Election Day. And the local connection to the man accused of trying to shut down the engines of a plane in midair.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Numerica Credit Union.
Spokane's homeless plan is not working. In the last 6 years, Spokane's homeless rate has nearly doubled, while the U.S. rate barely increased. And while many unhoused persons genuinely need a helping hand, others have accelerated Spokane's problems of crime and open drug use. Similar-sized U.S. cities don't have these problems, but Spokane became home to the largest homeless camp in the state of Washington. Why Spokane? Hear the answer at curingspokane.com.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
He's got the stars.
Yeah.
The studs.
I don't remember a time in my life I didn't watch his shows.
And the unexpected.
I've always thought of you as Dave Jr.
Every hair on my body is standing up right now.
Jimmy Kimmel Live, new weeknights on ABC.
I had a lot of bad days with gout, but that one took the wedding cake. Even with medicine, my uric acid was still too high to stop painful gout buildup. Then a gout specialist told me about Cristexa.
Cristexa is a prescription medicine for adults with gout whose symptoms are not controlled by other gout medicines.
I learned Cristexa quickly starts working to break down gout buildup.
Cristexa is an infused medicine. Serious life-threatening allergic reactions can occur while taking Cristexa. Tell your doctor right away if you have symptoms such as shortness of breath, trouble breathing, dizziness, itching, or swelling of the throat or tongue. Cristexa is not recommended if you have high levels of uric acid without a history of gout. Do not take Cristexa if you have a rare disorder called G6PD deficiency or favism. Before receiving Cristexa, tell your doctor if you have a history of heart problems and all the medicines you take. Cristexa may cause gout flare-ups, allergic reactions, nausea, bruising, sore throat, constipation, chest pain, and vomiting.
I received Cristexa for about 6 months. Now I'm in control, not gout.
Find a doctor who specializes in gout at goutdocnow.com.
Derek Dice has spent his life and career right here in the Northwest. Now he brings his decades of experience to 4 News Now at 5, 6, and Nightside. The name you've trusted for years at a new time.
4 News Now is brought to you by Andy's Heating and Cooling.
Well, thanks for staying up with Nightside. With less than 2 weeks before the November election, the Kootenai County Elections Office wants to make sure you're registered properly. Jennifer Locke with the Kootenai County Elections Office says the last day to request an absentee ballot is this Friday by 5 p.m. Voters need to return absentee ballots by 8 p.m. on Election Day. Since July 1st of this year, all new voter registrations will need to provide a proof of residence like a utility bill or proof of insurance.
No longer is acceptable to register to vote with an out-of-state license. So we're trying to get that information out to voters, and they can register to vote on Election Day, and they also can bring their passport or ID card from a government agency.
Now, early voting will continue until next Friday. The Elections Office says it's looking for polling workers right now. You can find more information on that on our website, kxoy.com. Spokane's NAACP and other community groups say Spokane County lacks transparency. This after 3 out of 5 county commissioners voted to appoint Airway Heights City Council member Jennifer Morton as chair of the county's Law and Justice Council Racial Equity Committee without public input. Morton was appointed on Tuesday. The committee's mission is to address how people of color are disproportionately treated within the region's criminal justice system. But impacted community groups like the NAACP are upset about the lack of transparency and short notice with her appointment.
You don't want to hear it, and you don't plan on doing anything other than what you've been doing, the way that you've been doing it, which supports the status quo dynamic that harms our communities of color.
4 News Now attempted to reach out to Morton multiple times for comment today, but we were not able to make contact.
We're not entirely done with the snow yet, but we're mostly done. And here's what we saw this morning and through the early portion of this afternoon. Many places were pretty warm, with snow coming a little bit later in the day. That really helped kind of limit some of these totals, plus elevation, as you can kind of guess by that list, played a big factor. Still some showers on the south side of the Palouse, moving through the Lewiston area, and some snow showers up in the Blue Mountains. There is a winter weather advisory for the Palouse region, south to Pomeroy, and then through the LC Valley area to the Camas Prairie. We will continue to see snow showers develop in this area tonight as this storm that was over us today continues to push away from our area. Snow totals as high as 1 inch, although I think the vast majority of us are going to see considerably less than that. But still, something that you need to keep an eye out for around the Palouse region for, could be a few areas of slick roads. And you can see these showers trying to develop, especially on the Idaho side, as we get into early Thursday morning. We'll also keep an eye out for some snow shower development on the other side of 4th of July Pass, along I-90 in the Silver Valley, all the way to Lookout Pass through 9 o'clock on Thursday. Now, as we get into the evening, there's been a trend here tonight in the forecast computers trying to get some couple of bands of snow right over the metro areas. We head into late Thursday evening. I still think the odds for this are on the low side, but it's certainly something worth monitoring for the next couple of days. Yeah, the chances are going to be low, but they're not going to be zero. So you still may run into a few snow flurries and maybe some light dusting accumulations here, not just for Thursday, but for Friday as well. Mostly, though, we're talking about chilly temperatures. We're going to struggle to hit 40 degrees, but at least we'll be a little bit warmer than we were today. We'll talk more about the chilly temperatures set for this weekend coming up.
All right, Matt, thank you. We can now confirm an off-duty pilot who tried to kill the engines on a plane in midair is a Cheney High School graduate. This is a photo from Cheney High's 1997 yearbook, the year Joseph Emerson graduated. A spokeswoman for Cheney Public Schools confirmed his 97 graduation. Emerson allegedly told investigators he had taken psychedelic mushrooms for the first time some 48 hours before the incident and thought he was having a nervous breakdown after going 40 hours without sleep. Authorities say he was off-duty, hitching a ride in the cockpit's jump seat Sunday when he suddenly threw his headset across the cockpit and announced, "I am not okay." Emerson then reached up and grabbed the red fire handles. One of the pilots had to physically stop him. If he'd successfully pulled the handles all the way down, the plane would have, quote, turned into a glider within seconds. Emerson later tried to grab the handle of an emergency exit door.
Definitely was scary. The flight attendant came on for the third time and made the announcement that there was a passenger having a mental breakdown and people were going to come on board to escort him off.
Now, Emerson also telling police it was his first time taking mushrooms, that he'd been suffering from depression, and that his friend recently passed away. He now faces 83 counts of attempted murder. According to the FAA, pilots must self-report mental health conditions. Well, Seattle police are now putting students and kids on high alert for a network of older teens who've been robbing kids in the past month. Since September 19th, Seattle police can confirm there have been a string of robberies involving students walking home from Seattle public schools. The scariest part? These thugs are armed with guns, they're driving stolen cars, and they work in groups of 2 or 3. Police say these teens are targeting cell phones. Well, police say it's critical that parents talk to kids about situational awareness because of things like this. That includes taking their earbuds out, keeping their phones put away, looking around at their surroundings, keeping their hoodies down, and walking in groups of 2 or 3. Well, a border collie is being hailed as a hero. What Axel did to help save the family's teenage son, next on Nightside.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
The most important issue in this mayor's race, crime and public safety. I'm Nadine Woodward. We cannot let Spokane become Seattle. It's why I increased police patrols, opened new precincts, and got dangerous offenders off the streets with our Violent Crimes Task Force. My opponent? She's helped fund criminals and is supported by anti-police activists. I'm proud to be endorsed by law enforcement. I'm Nadine Woodward, and I approve this message. Let's make crime illegal again.
Did you see this? It says most people are going to need long-term care that health insurance and Medicare won't cover.
I saw that, and it got me thinking, if I need to pay for home modifications or in-home care, I am not prepared. Are you?
Not really. I mean, whatever happens, I just want to know that I'll be able to get care and stay in my own home as I age.
Right? I want that too. So,
Find out how the WA Cares Fund can help.
If you're looking to score big on the best lineup of new and used vehicles, then come on down to Finley.
At
Findlay Downtown Toyota, we are loaded with new Tundra and Tacoma trucks, as well as brand new all-wheel drive SUVs just in time for winter. And if you're looking for a quality used vehicle, we are full of great choices that come with a 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty.
So if you're looking for a touchdown of savings, you can find it at Findlay. Findlay Toyota's downtown.
We aren't just HVAC specialists. We're a Lennox premier dealer. That means we offer the most energy-efficient products on the market, with savings you can see and perfect air you can feel. Your comfort is our passion, and we're with you every breath of the way. Enjoy greater comfort and lower energy costs. Call us today and save on Lennox with special incentives and rebates.
Call Norco Heating and Air today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning.
All right, welcome back. Here is a photo of a moose enjoying the snow on Moran Prairie this morning. This photo was taken by a former 4 News Now employee when the snow was blowing at a little before 8 a.m.
The moose got a little salted snow cone there.
Yeah, it looks like it. And then that snow settled down a little bit later in the morning.
Yeah, even where it didn't stick. We should be glad that it was warm as it was this morning, because it was blowing hard. It was quite dramatic. It was a dramatic entrance for our first real taste of winter. Hey, you want to hear about some more drama? This is dramatic, what we're going to wake up to this morning. A hard freeze, in some cases very, very much so. We're down to 18 tonight in Deer Park. We're down to 19 in Spirit Lake. Around the I-90 corridor, generally you should expect mid-20s as you go through the morning. You start to come up in elevation onto the West Plains, and on the Palouse will be in the low 20s. And remember, this is just night one of what is going to be a few nights of some pretty chilly temperatures. You can see the broader view here of our low temperatures tonight. We'll get down to 15 tonight in Colville. There's going to be a lot of teens in places like Stevens, Pend Oreille County, as well as in the North Idaho Panhandle. Winthrop also gets down to 18 degrees. Lots of middle and upper 20s elsewhere. And our highs only reach the upper 30s and low 40s tomorrow afternoon. So similar to today, you'll definitely want to keep those coats on, especially with mostly cloudy skies. Now, as we head through Thursday night, Friday night, that's when I expect us to bottom out. Friday night, Saturday morning, if we're getting down to 20 degrees or maybe 19 in some parts of Spokane, there are some folks that are talking about maybe 13, 12, 11 degrees as you head north of the metro area. So it is going to be cold. The big deal here is that we're going to see clearing skies as we head into Friday night and the weekend. So no extra layer of insulation to keep us warmer. And we are really going to bottom out with this very cold air that's working its way across our region right now. Other than the cold, the weather this weekend is quite beautiful and well below average for this point in the year. By the time we get to Halloween on Tuesday, we're starting to swing back the other direction. As we enter November, we're in the 50s and temperatures are a little bit more average.
All right, Matt, thank you so much. Well, Axel the Border Collie is being hailed as a hero. The dog the Tanner family adopted helped save their son, alerting his parents when the boy was having a stroke. ABC's Whit Johnson has the story.
He wouldn't let up, and he kept on, really jumping with both paws on me, making sure that I was up.
It was that unusual 5 a.m. wake-up call from her dog that Amanda Tanner says turned out to be life-saving.
I thought, he's waking me up 5 in the morning, not good timing, but he just needed to go outside to use a restroom.
But the family's adopted border collie named Axel refused to go outside, instead leading Amanda's husband down to her 17-year-old son Gabriel's room.
I was on my way to get back to my room to sleep. I just felt like everything was around me. It was like caving around me.
They didn't know at the time, but Gabriel was experiencing a stroke. His speech was slurred and he'd lost feeling to the right side of his body. Within hours, Gabriel went from taking senior pictures earlier in the day to becoming almost nonverbal.
He got to a point that he couldn't really get any words out when he was on my bed with me, and then he just started crying.
The family rushed him to Memorial Hermann Hospital in Texas, where he was diagnosed with having an ischemic stroke.
There was a blood vessel in his brain that had closed off partially in something we called a dissection. It was a dissection of the artery that was causing a narrowing of it to not get blood to the brain.
Each year, nearly 800,000 people in the U.S. have a stroke. And while the risk increases with age, about 15% of strokes happen in children and adults under the age of 40.
Bend, T, bend, T.
Gabriel is now undergoing rehab, improving his motor skills and speech therapy, giving him a new perspective on life.
There's going to be like things that are going to be like make you sad or like stuff, but like don't dwell on it.
But even Gabriel's doctors admit if it weren't for his dog Axel's quick thinking, his condition could have been much worse.
I am beyond grateful for whatever sensitivity Axel has to tell us what's going on and to have moved that so fast.
Good job, Axel. Well, the Seahawks will be without a key defensive player for the rest of the season. The latest injury update ahead of the Sunday matchup against the Cleveland Browns. Next in sports.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
This week's Washington Trust Shred location is at the Lincoln Heights branch.
It's Shark Tank's first.
Sharkawee.
With spine-tingling pitches inspired by the season.
Who's ready to raise the dead?
We are.
And a hauntingly great new guest shark, Jason Blum.
I have a lot of scary experiences. Let's bite some deals.
Shark Tank, Friday, 8, 7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
It will be fantastic.
4 News Now wants to take you inside the walls of Sacred Heart Children's Hospital to meet brave children and their caregivers. Miracle Mondays, brought to you by your locally owned Inland Northwest Ace dealers.
We love our house, but lately we've been feeling a little cramped.
So we talked to ICCU about a new home loan. The process was super quick, and we got a really great rate.
We start house hunting tomorrow.
Preferably something with a bigger garage.
There's nothing worse than politicians who say one thing then do another. Like Lisa Brown, who said,
people care about crime. They want people who break laws to be held accountable by our law enforcement system. I believe that.
Brown's actual record, she gave our tax dollars to the Bail Project of Spokane, which bails out violent offenders. Brown gave a $50,000 grant to La Taxion, a felon convicted of murder. We can't trust Lisa Brown to keep Spokane safe.
Spokane and North Idaho's country leader.
Drinking watermelon moonshine.
Oh, Lord, when it rains, it pours. The big 99.9 Coyote Country.
Well, the Seattle Seahawks are hiring at linebacker. Welcome into sports. I'm Julian Minnesone. Seahawks linebacker Uchenna Nwosu will miss the rest of the season. Nwosu will need surgery to repair his torn pectoral muscle. The Seahawks wasted no time in finding a replacement. Seattle signed free agent Frank Clark to help out in Nwosu's absence. Clark is a 3-time Pro Bowler who spent his first 4 seasons with the Seahawks. So this is a reunion of sorts, one that head coach Pete Carroll is hoping works out for the better.
There's a spot there. We had a shot with Frank and having background history with him. It's a natural spot for him to play with us and see if he can get in the rotation and help us out. We'll see how it goes.
The Seahawks will host the Cleveland Browns at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Washington State football can't escape the injuries either. Cougars running back Dylan Payne will not play in Saturday's game against Arizona State due to a high ankle sprain. Payne replaced former backup running back Jalen Jenkins. Jenkins was dismissed from the program for violating team rules. Now, starting running back Nakia Watson will see increased playing time in Payne's absence. Cougars head coach Jake Dickert says Watson needs a breakout performance if Washington State wants to beat those pesky Sun Devils.
We need big things out of Nakia. You know, we need one of those big games, and obviously a protection game is going to be huge. I mean, not just part of that running back's job. They have very complicated pressure scheme.
Freshman running back Javinsky Schlenbaker is expected to fill in as Watson's backup this week. Kickoff against Arizona State is at 5 o'clock on Saturday night in Tempe. Injuries have also impacted the Washington State women's basketball team. Cougars guard Joanna Tedder will miss the upcoming season due to recurring injuries she's been dealing with for the last few years. Tedder started in every game for the Cougars last season. She had the second best shooting percentage on the team and was in the top 10 in the Pac-12 in made three-pointers. Gonzaga basketball's Anton Watson said he was embracing the leadership role this season, especially without Drew Timme. Watson is expected to be a focal point for the Bulldogs, and the rest of the nation agrees. Watson is one of 20 players named to the Julius Erving Award preseason watch list. The Erving Award is given to the best small forward in all of college basketball, and Watson's coming off his best season at Gonzaga. He averaged a career-high 11 points a game and was an all-WCC honorable mention. Watson is expected to be the main man in the middle for the Bulldogs. And Gonzaga women's basketball made some history. Forward Yvonne Ejim and guards Brenna Maxwell and Kaylin Trong were named to the Becky Hammond Award preseason watch list. Gonzaga is the first team in history to have 3 players on that list. The Hammond Award is given to the mid-major conference player of the year in women's college hoops. And with the NBA season officially underway, we wanted to give you a guide of sorts of the former Zags and Cougs you need to keep an eye on. There are a total of 10 players in the NBA from Gonzaga. This does not include guys like Drew Timme or Malachi Smith, who are waived by their teams. But those guys could find themselves on an NBA roster at some point this season. Gonzaga's latest NBA prospect, Julian Strawther, did not play in the Denver Nuggets season opener against the LA Lakers last night. He's been dealing with an ankle injury at the end of the preseason. Now, Washington State has a pair of pros as well. Mohamed Gay playing for the Atlanta Hawks, and of course Klay Thompson for the Golden State Warriors. He had 15 points in the loss to the Phoenix Suns last night. And going back to Washington State, this feels like one of those get-back games because they've lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
They're a little thin at running back right now, but Arizona State, a very beatable team. You feel like they've got to do it now because that bowl game window is shrinking.
Tempe hasn't been kind to the Cougs over the years, but hopefully they can get it done this weekend. All right, Julian, thank you so much. Back with more Nightside after this.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
What I want people to know about Numerica's involvement is that it's genuine.
I work at a company that supports the community because we're a part of it.
It's important to give back to the community you live in. We are truly here to help, and we're passionate about it.
Hondas are piggy banks on wheels. Stylish, athletic piggy banks that save you money at every glorious turn. Legendary fuel efficiency, famous for its resale value, and now with great deals including 2 years complimentary maintenance, it's your chance to get into America's best value brand. So start saving money and drive happy as a pig in. See your Inland Northwest Honda dealer today. Honda can handle it.
What you're seeing today is Dr. Renee Badreau completing a successful eye surgery and the dedicated hours of training in virtual reality that helped make it happen, allowing her to practice surgical techniques to increase access to quality care through immersive environments. These are the ways surgeons with Fundamental VR and Orbis are using the metaverse today.
From Moses Lake to the Palouse, from the sports desk to your favorite morning news.
Thanks for starting your week with us.
Derek Dice has spent his life and career right here in the Northwest, committed to you and our community. Now he brings his decades of experience to 4 News Now at 5, 6, and Nightside. The name you've trusted for years at a new time. Derek Dice joins Kirsten O'Connor on 4 News Now at 5 and 6 and Nightside. See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
So there's still a chance to see a little bit of snow over the next couple of days, but it's going to be very hit or miss. And like we saw for many places this morning, Yeah, it'll snow. It'll look pretty, but it'll be a very light little dusting of accumulation, which is the best kind of snow. Let's all be realistic here. Man, it is going to be chilly, though. You headed out to football games on Friday. You're out and about on Saturday. It's going to be cold out there.
Got the gloves ready.
Yeah, we don't need the heavy stuff just yet. Everybody have a great night.